Hello and welcome. Today, we have a couple of interesting stories, including one about a guy whose girlfriend sent nudes to random men online and got into trouble for it. Sit back, relax and enjoy. How do I, F28, tell my husband, M33, that I want a divorce? I'm miserable.
So miserable.
We used to be really happy and like each other. Since our daughter was born, everything has changed. She's almost a year old, and he's yet to do anything to help with her. He sleeps in a different room to me, and the baby, she's still in my room. So he's never done a night feed, or rocked her back to sleep, or anything like that. He doesn't sort her meals, her bottles, he doesn't do laundry or clean the house. He sits on his ass constantly and just plays on his phone.
No matter how much I say I need help with everyday things, he always says he'll change but doesn't.
We argue every single day. He's self-employed, works constantly and still brings home hardly anything. What he does earn, he takes for petrol in the car, vaping, and tattoos. This has been ongoing for years. He has a job for a bit, then gets fired and doesn't do anything for a while until he goes to the next thing. For 6 years I've single-handedly been financially responsible for every single thing. All the bills, the rent, etc. are all down to me. We're in a lot of debt, and I pay my own as well as his too. And obviously, now we have a child, I'm also doing all the parenting. I do 99% of her care, and he maybe gives her a bottle once every so often.
His patience is awful, and his attitude is worse.
He constantly believes I'm cheating. If I'm on my phone, he wants to know exactly who I'm texting and what we're talking about. It isn't because he's interested, it's because he thinks it's someone else. I want to divorce and be free. I'm already doing everything alone, so it makes no difference.
I feel like I'm trapped though. He has nowhere else to go. If I ask him to move out, he can't afford to get a place of his own.
The house we live in is owned by my father, and every bill, etc. is in my name, so I'm not leaving. Doesn't matter what we say, he thinks we're happy. He can't take the hint I'm miserable and wish he'd go away. Despite it all, I want him to be okay moving forward, and I'm worried about hurting his feelings by saying I'm done. I'm worried about custody, and his family, who don't like me anyway, and the impact of that too. I'm worried about the opinions of everyone else with this.
And I don't even know how to say I'm done.
I've been trying for 6 months to tell him, but he says he'll change and things will be different. I don't know how to do it, but I know I need to. I'm sorry, this is a lot of rambling. Just feel like I'm at a breaking point with life in general. My mental health isn't great, and I need to escape.
I don't want to keep trying to make this work when I don't feel anything him but resentment.
The top replies.
From someone who can appreciate from personal experience a lot of what you say above. You've tried to communicate your needs.
He's had his chances. You say he's been like this for years. If he hasn't changed by now, he isn't going to. Not in this relationship, anyway. This relationship is not a partnership. You are roommates, and you are taking care of everything.
You're a single parent in a marriage with 2 parents.
You deserve better. Of course, he doesn't think there's an issue, He has it easy.
You take care of everything and he likes it that way. The above point said, I honestly doubt he is actually happy.
He's probably just comfortable enough to keep going. Don't worry or be guilt-tripped about where he would go if you divorced, how he would feel, etc. That's a false flag that keeps you in a situation that isn't healthy, for reasons that are selfish for the other person. Don't worry about what others will think of you get divorced. They don't have to live in the marriage that makes you miserable. They don't have a dog in this fight, period. Where do you go from here? My advice would be to quietly talk to an attorney. Get your ducks in a row. Plan out with your attorney what the next 6 to 18 months may look like.
Let a trusted friend or family member who can keep quiet know what's going on, so you have someone you can call if you need help ASAP.
Make sure you and baby stay safe. Do not stay together for the baby. Your relationship is not healthy, which means it is not good for your child, either.
As a person who was stuck as a child in a household with parents who should have split long before they did, please don't use the child as an excuse not to leave. Best wishes to you, original poster.
The second reply. Sounds like me when my kids were little. Just bite the bullet and do it. Tell him exactly what you wrote here, and that you have fallen out of love with him.
Ask him if you guys can be amicable during the divorce process or not.
He's going to get angry and have lots of emotions, but those are his to work on, not yours. Focus on your baby and move on.
Third reply.
You need support.
Someone to do this with you so that you are not alone with him.
Some here for him to go when you say bye-bye, even if it is a car to sleep in. A lawyer will guide you, though you can look up divorces online for your area and see what is required. That might save you some money to get things in place. A financial separation can be different than the full divorce, and you might start with getting your finances separated beforehand. As the house is your father's and all the bills are yours, that will make things much easier for you to not have any money to share. Debts: I would make sure your accounts are locked down and that no one can open a card in your name. A credit check is also useful. If you have debts in common, you will know exactly where you stand. Look into renting a room or something to help you pay off the debts faster. Or could family members come stay with you? Start the ball rolling. You don't need to do everything at once. When you are ready, you can serve him a notice to leave. Pack up his stuff and be ready. Less problems from him hanging around that way. Good luck. The second story. My girlfriend sends nudes to a random guy. So let me go long story short, my girlfriend F. 18, and me M. 18, are together for about a year. We both are attending HS. The story starts when girlfriend was in a classroom with her girlfriends. All of her friends are single, so they decided to install Tinder for fun.
They started matching with random guys and one of them stuck out asking for soft/nude photos. None of girlfriend friends had any pics, so one of them asked girlfriend if girlfriend had one. She immediately said yes, and they asked if she could lend them one or two.
As you may know from the title, she gave them without thinking. A random guy received my girlfriend nude pic. Later in the day she was a bit quiet and sad, so I asked her what happened. She didn't want to tell me at first, but after begging her because I didn't want to see her sad, she told me everything but as usual asked me to not be mad in the first place.
When I heard the story, I was in a bit of shock, but it didn't bother me at first. But when we said goodnight and hung up, that was the time when it all hit me what she have done. I bursted out crying my eyes out. The next day after night of thinking we had a long talk about the situation and I gave her an ultimatum. If anything close to such a situation would happen again I would break up and ghost her. She took it fine and we went on with our life.
This happened 2 months ago, but I'm still a bit sad about it and had to vent.
If you have any counsel, please provide.
The top replies. Originally, I was gonna say break up with her, but if she did not have the Tinder, and it did not have her face, then maybe not. However, you need to take this situation and use it as to share some stronger boundaries for the relationship. And she needs to understand that there should be consequences for doing something like this. Living is all about learning. There's always lessons in something, and I hope that she learned her lesson from this. The second reply.
Let me cut to the chase, my friend. Dump any woman you are in a romantic relationship who sends nudes to other men or sexts other men or has flirty, inappropriate messages to other men. This should be a hard deal breaker for you or any man.
Trust me. It will make your life easier and help you weed out the bad women out there. You'll be a fool to stay with her. You were a fool to give her your ultimatum.
She already did it.
It can't be undone. Why do you think she's worth being with if she behaves now? You'll never know. You know you can't trust her and she will disrespect you and violate relationship boundaries. Don't waste another day on her. Never stay with such a girl. Dump her. Third story. My M21 girlfriend, F20, fingered plus got fingered by her two friends. My girlfriend just told me that her and two of her friends, also females, decided to finger each other last night when drunk. She affirmed that it was sexual and just curiosity/funny thing and only for a few seconds to see what it feels like. She also said that she'd never consider doing it sober, whether that matters or not. I'm not sure how I feel about it. While I don't feel like it's cheating, I do feel very uncomfortable with it and kinda grossed out that they would do that. Not sure how I feel and if I should be annoyed.
Define Latif feel uncomfortable.
The top comments. I mean, this is kind of tricky because some of your comments suggest you're not actually that upset about this but feel like maybe you should be because fingering is obviously on a much different scale than kissing. But you also say in comments you still consider this cheating, though one of your post statements contradicts that. It seems like you're kind of going back and forth and are confused. If there are sexual activities you don't want your girlfriend engaging in with other people while dating you, don't let it slide and say something about it. If it makes you uncomfortable, that's very valid and understandable. See, I'm worried that since you were okay with her kissing her friends, she may have just assumed you would be okay with her doing other sexual things with friends. That's not to make excuses for her, but it is to say that if you want to stay in this relationship, which is your choice, it's important that you be vocal about what is and isn't okay in terms of boundaries. Otherwise, I wouldn't be surprised if she just keeps doing stuff like this and it gets worse and worse. Edit 1. Not fully fingered, just stuck fingers in vagina for a second or two.
If that makes a difference, edit 2. Obviously, I would feel differently if it were a male.
She insists she's not lesbian or bisexual, which I believe. She says that she didn't find it sexual at all and thought it was gross and nothing pleasurable about it.
Nonetheless, I still think it's weird as hell.
I've heard from a self-identified straight man that the best oral he'd ever received was from another man, so maybe it does feel different. Men tend to have bigger mouths, after all. I bet they can fit more in. Not every vagina feels the same.
At least there were 3 of them there, so they got a bit of variety. For science.
But I don't know if a few seconds is really long enough to really assess the similarities and differences. As far as it feeling different to the girlfriend to be fingered, women tend to have slimmer fingers and better dexterity. And fingering oneself doesn't really let you get the best angle. It definitely feels different to be fingered by a man versus a woman versus oneself. All that said, unless there is some kind of open relationship going on, this definitely sounds like cheating. It wouldn't fly in any of the relationships I've had.